Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Into the Eye Tarot and my name is Mel and I'm going to be your messenger. Lucky you guys. How we're going to do the channel is I'm going to do the reading here in a second, but before we start that, I wanted to just let you guys know a couple of things. First of all, the only way that I'm asking for money right now, I'm not doing personal readings, is by the extended that'll be at the end of the reading. And yeah, that's the only way right now that you can kind of help the channel, so other than liking and subscribing. So what else? Let's see. This is a new channel, and as such, it's a baby channel, and so I'm learning to walk and talk here. So I really appreciate you guys' patience with me. I will get better, I do promise. So the point of this channel is to help raise the vibrations here for everybody on earth and to remember that we are all one. So let's jump right in. Hello Gemini, welcome to your reading. I have created a special spread for the channel. I think I'm going to call it the Into the Eye Tarot spread. I've basically incorporated some of my favorite things right now about getting messages, or the tools I use in order to get messages, and I've incorporated some of those things, and I will explain all that as we go, okay? So first we're going to start off with pulling numbers, and I've already shaken this. It can get rather noisy, so I've already done that. And I think they're settled in there. So we're going to go ahead and pull out and see what kind of energies we have coming in. Okay, so starting over here in the west, on this particular dice, the 0 actually correlates to a 10, which reduces down to a 1. So the energies of the 1 in the areas of, this can be in family, home, or even your body. Some of those positive numbers associated, or words associated with that 1 energy, is independence, leadership, individuality, motivation, uniqueness, new beginnings, creation. Some of the negative things associated with the 1 can be dependence, dominance, arrogance, aggression. So there might be some of you dealing with that in your family or in your home area. So let's go ahead and pull a card. Oh, wonderful. You guys have the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands is a card about celebrations, about accomplishments, right? People in the card, you can see everybody's holding up these wands, and you're riding in on this white horse draped in this growth, wearing a cape of passion, or you might have accomplished something. Maybe you have just purchased a new home. Maybe you could be to do with promotion, but maybe you just gotten married. Congratulations. Maybe you've just, been engaged. Something to do with that. I think let's add that up. If you add the 6 to your 1, you get 7 as your advice for any energies. Any of those negative, when we were talking earlier about those negative, things can be associated with the 1 energy: single-mindedness, lack of emotion, intolerance, aggression, being weak-willed, independent rather than independent, which is the positive of 1 in an individual. So if you're dealing with that, the 7 can really help you. 7s talk about inner knowing. They talk about solitary, introspection. Study and education as well can be associated with the 7. Let's pull an advice card for this area, this month of August. I think for the majority of you, it's not going to be a situation of dealing with any kind of negative 1 energy. It's going to be that 1, like you're being celebrated, being appreciated by your family or in your home area. And if not, if it's just you, maybe you're moving out and you're celebrating that. Maybe you're going to college. Congratulations, So let's pull some kind of advice for that area. It says common ground. It says, I'm an open-hearted ambassador to my shy, introverted, and less than likable kin.
Our once awkward conversations are no match for a universal small talk stimulant known as common ground. I'm willing to look for this common ground, and once we have that to stand on, I'm willing to bet standing next to them isn't so bad. So if you are dealing with any kind of negative in the family, just maybe finding some common ground would help the energies this month, okay? So let's move ahead to the north, and this is in the area of your mind. It can also do with work, and you have the 9. Let's talk about some light aspects of the 9. So some light aspects of the 9 are charity. This is the energy of charity. It's the energy of being the humanitarian, of self-sacrifice, of leading by a positive example. Endings can also be doing with ones, learning to say no. So that can be on your mind, and it can be in all kinds of areas right now. We're going to pull a card and see I can't talk right now. What's going on at work? What's going on in your career? And how maybe being, I feel like this card wants to come out, pop on out. Okay. So we have the King of Swords. And he doesn't have a number associated with him, or I don't associate a number with him. So the advice is going to be the 9 for this area. Let's talk about the King of Swords. The King of Swords just reminds me of a very studious, honest, like they don't mince words. They say exactly what they want, exactly what they mean. And I actually appreciate those kind of personalities. And this could be talking about, you might be dealing with a person that's like this at work, or this could be you. You could be transforming. I've just noticed that there's a butterfly here on his throne. So there could be a transformation going on at work, whether it is you being promoted, or whether it is just the energies that you want to hold at work are being this studious person that doesn't talk unless there's something that needs to be said. He has the cape not only of red, which talks about the material world, passions, energy, but also a purple, which is intuition and spirituality. I think this is more talking about your intuition and knowing in which situations you might need to speak up and which situations you might not for the month of August. Holding on to the 9 energy of, divine wisdom, charity, service to humanity, being quiet, holding that, maybe holding your tongue and holding that peace at work will help. Let's get some advice. The advice says, my genius. I believe in my inner genius, encourage it to speak as much as possible. When it seems to be feeling shy, I coax it to contribute ideas by sharing even its tiniest, craziest thoughts out loud. The more validated my genius feels, the more apt it is to participate. And nobody puts my genius in the corner. That's twice that it's been the advice is to be less shy. Because over here it says, when it seems to be feeling shy, I coax it out, my genius, right? Your ideas. And then common ground. When I was talking about family earlier, it says, I'm an open-hearted ambassador to my shy, introverted, and less than likable kin. So that was talking about others being, okay, but that's just interesting. Something to point out. You might be feeling a little shy this month. That might be the energy. We're going to pull out a main energy and advice. So don't worry if you are feeling that overall. So let's go ahead and move on to your creative aspects. What we have over here in the east is fire. And fire talks about your soul. It's the I want. What does your soul want? And this can also be in the area of creative and passions. You have the 8. The 8 number can talk about wealth. This is the number of abundance, wealth, material world manifestations, authority. This is also the karmic number, the universal karmic number for cause and effect. In the area of passion or your hobbies, creativity, you could be an artist of some kind out there. And I do feel like there's a lot of successful energy. I mean, the 8, and you might be getting a lot of messages to your intuition about projects. So Some of the negative numbers are words that can be associated with the 8 is superiority complex, tactlessness, being domineering, and greedy. So let's just be aware of that. I'll talk about strength and evolution. So let's pull. Ooh, wonderful. You guys had the Ace of Wands, which is literally like the universe handing you a gift. And this gift comes in the form of an idea. The wands are the, excuse me, I want to cough. Fire, the fire sign in the tarot deck. And this is in the position of fire. So that's really wonderful. And this doesn't actually hold a number. So 8. I just feel like you guys are going to have success in any kind of creative endeavor that you choose to do, no matter what area of that process that you're in, whether you're in the idea process or whether you're in the completion process. I'm having problems talking, so there might be some inspiration coming in if you are a person that needs to speak. If you are about to be, a new person in a new school and you're feeling a little bit shy about that, I think the universe is going to be there. It's going to help you. It's going to help you. You're going to feel like confident. You're going to wonder where it came from, and that's where it came from. It came from the universe. Your spirit guides have you. Let's pull some advice for the areas of creativity, passions. Okay. It says break the routine. It says, what are the enemies of creativity? Apathy, boredom, routine. Time to ditch those blah, including bedfellows, and throw a little spice in your soup. If you paint, try painting in the dark or with a foot. If you write, do so in a forest or a field or a bathroom full of nature pics. No matter the medium, you can make your makings make your day. Get your dabble on with different materials, genres, even art forms. How else is that theremin ever gonna get played? I don't know what that is. But yeah, it's just saying that you should step out of maybe your comfort zone when it comes to those creative things and try new things. You might find something new, something to add. You're growing in every aspect, right? Oh, let's pull your number for how you're feeling. Oh, wonderful. You guys have an 8 again in how you're feeling. So this doesn't necessarily have to be in love and relationships, but I do have it in that area. So you'll just have to know, like if you're single, this is just generally how you're feeling. If you're in a relationship, you guys get it. There's so many of you out there. You'll have to put the energy where it feels right. So the 8 energy, like I said before, that's that wealth. That's that feeling of abundance, feeling of generosity. Some of those negative things can be domineering, superiority complex. Oh, that wanted to pop out. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So you have the 9 of Pentacles. That's really wonderful. I was just listening. So we have the 8 and the 9. This is 17, which is another 8. I do feel like there's some of you Geminis that are single or are recently single or just really happy in your single dumbhood. Yeah, you've done a lot of growth, I feel like, on yourself. Some of you Geminis have been through a period of growth and you're feeling just wonderful. You're feeling that karmic love and that balance. It says the number of the 8s talk about that cause and effect. And you're reaping your rewards in that. And it could be in all areas or it could be specifically in love. We're going to have a preview where we're going to have a certain love situation that will do the extended and that will come after it. And we also have a song for you guys. So, but I feel like generally, Gemini, you guys are just feeling wonderful, whether you're in a relationship or not. You guys are growing. You're growing. You feel abundant this month. You feel generous. You feel really loved. So let's pull some advice. Let me see. Pink deck. It says benefit of the doubt. It says, I believe in the basic goodness of other people, and I give them a chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I participated trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. Wonderful. That's wonderful. So, yeah, going into any situation and giving people that respect they deserve for just being human. If they, show you that you can be trusted, and the respect grows. And if they do things that show you they can't, then that respect dwindles. That's just, but giving a person that respect upon first meeting them, I don't think you guys have a problem with that. You get it, don't you, Geminis? It wants me to repeat at least I can go to sleep knowing that I participated trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. Okay, let's pull your main. Let's talk about your main energy for the month. You have a 7. Again, so you guys had it over here as in your family and home area. So 7s talk about spirituality. They talk about research. That's that solitude energy that I'm going to go and be by myself and do some self discovery, self-knowing, some self-growing. 7s talk about being very quick-witted. Some of the negative things associated with 7s can be depression. It can be pride. It can be ego. It can be a lack of inactivity, being antisocial, the inability to share ideas. And I felt like maybe with that might be happening over here in the aspect of your creative, and that could do with jobs too, because on the wheel they're touching for a reason. So if you find like you're having a problem or any kind of problems communicating right now, the 7s going inside yourself, maybe planning that out, what you're going to say or how you're going to say it, or exactly what it is that you're trying to say. So let's pull some advice for that and get some advice, because I totally understand how that feels. The advice. So I'm about to cuss, y'all, because it says it on the card. Blame the cards. It says, I don't worry about petty bullshit. I show up. I hunt. I eat. Your distant ancestors didn't dick around worrying about how good they looked to the rest of the world. They were out there hunting animals, battling enemies, and creating empires. They probably smelled like ass and were completely unaware that their descendants would gel their hair, shave their butts, and implant body parts to impress each other. Quit focusing on the surface and do what needs to be done in the core to survive and advance. The future depends on you. Okay, you guys stay tuned, because I also have a song message that I'm going to be pulled for you and the preview. So see you there. Okay, Gemini, the song that I pulled for you guys is called Like That by B. Miller. I was listening to this song and it really reminded me of time in my life, and Spirit is telling me that I should tell you guys this story. So I will do my best, as I've never really talked about this story for a long time out loud, but Spirit's telling me that this is going to be important, so let's just talk about it. So, okay, when I was 14, so at the end of like 8th grade, I was a teenager, like obviously, right? Living in Germany. Both my parents were soldiers, 20 years in the United States Army. Thank you for anybody out there who is a service member. Thank you for your service. And thank you anybody who's out there who's a dependent of a service member. Thank you for your service to the member who's in service, because I was that person. I was that family member that followed them around. And so we were in Germany at this time. And for a long time, I'd had issues with the right side of my neck. Like there's a muscle that runs down the length of your neck, down your shoulder to your shoulder. And that muscle on my body had started like getting bigger than the one on my left side. Not only that, but I couldn't grab my pencil anymore to do my homework. Like it felt hard and it felt like a struggle. And it'd been a long time leading up to, this point. And also on top of all that, it felt to me that like holding my head up, I would have to hold it with my left hand to look down, and I would have to prop it up and physically do it with my left hand, and sort of like it felt like I had to put my head back on body, kind of. And I had been telling my parents for a long time, like, yeah, like there's something wrong. Like, look, like you could even see like it was bigger. And they would say, yeah, well, maybe it's because, you're heavy, your book bag, the books in there are pretty heavy, And so then that made sense to me. And so they were like, well, try taking baths and relaxing those muscles. So baths really helped. But I mean, it came to a point where that just wasn't helping anymore. And this was getting worse and worse. And I couldn't do my homework. And it felt to me like my voice wasn't being heard. Um, And the day in question, I don't remember the exact day. I just know it was like during the end of eighth grade. Um, I was sitting in a class, and I remember I wasn't able to do the worksheet that was on the desk, and I think we had to pass them back up. And the teacher had looked and saw my name, and she didn't see any work, and so she was like, "Oh, so and so, Messenger Mel, we're not doing any work today." And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't seem to grab my pencil and my head is just pounding. And she's like, well, you can either do this or take a zero. And I could just feel the anger building up inside me. For me, I'm a very sensitive person. I used to hate that because I was just cry and I couldn't communicate. By this age, I was getting a little bit better. It was like I'm about to get mad so I can communicate over the crying. Now I appreciate the sensitivity because it enables me to come here and share messages with you guys. It's part of my path. So, but anyways, yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I got mad and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm taking a zero. And I was not a defiant kid. Being a military brat, you did not talk to adults that way. Granted, I was surrounded by great adults the majority of the time, and my parents were awesome parents. They might not be listening to me in this situation. Okay, yeah. But neither was this teacher, and I was getting angry, and I was like, fine, I guess I'm taking the zero. And she was like, she had sent me to the principal, or she was like, something had happened, but basically she was like, well, you can go to the principal then, because I had just yelled at her and screamed at her. Yeah, I had screamed at her, there's something wrong with me and nobody is listening. And in order to get it out over the crying, because it was either crying or screaming at that point, I had screamed at her, there's something wrong with me and nobody's listening to me. And she's like, that's it, Mrs. Messenger, go to the principal's office. And I had never in my life been sent to the principal's office. You did not act up. Usually you did not act up as a military brat, especially overseas, because it was like, if you were bad, of course you were going to be disciplined. You're going to be sent, But it gets to the point where they call your parents, right? Of course they do that in the States. But then they call, if they can't get things done and your parents aren't doing anything and correcting the problem, they will call your parents' boss. Okay? Because it is not important that you are here with them. It is important that they, as a soldier and basically a property of the United States government, they have a job to do there. And they're going to send you, if you cannot act right, they will send you back to live with family in the States. So in order to stay with your family, you did not usually act up. And I was not a disrespectful child to begin with. I was mischievous and things like that. But anyway, so here I am getting sent to the freaking principal's office first time in my life, but I've had it. That was the point where I have had it. Okay, I've been brave. Yeah, it might be a crying mess right now. I'm getting my book back on. But okay. And I was walking to the principal's office and I had a choice to make. There was these double doors that were opened up, and one way it was toward through these double doors, and the other way was to the principal's, down the hall to the principal's office. And I decided in that moment something came over me. Spirit helped me. The army of angels and ancestors that loved me and saw what I was saying. These fools around me in these human forms could not see or hear me. I'm trying not to get emotional, but the army of angels behind my back could, and they helped me in that moment make the decision that I was going to walk through those doors. And I was going to walk across space, and I was going to go to the hospital, and I was going to do my best to try to be seen. And so I started walking and I started trying to think, okay, because I knew, maybe my mom works at that hospital. She didn't work in a medical capacity. She worked at a different capacity at that hospital. So I went and I had gone to the little reception area when you walk in the hospital. I'd never been in this entrance before. Usually I had come in the back entrance with my mom, So I'm coming the official way because I didn't not want to meet my mom. So I'm coming in that way, and of course they're like, "Hi, what can we do for you?" And I'm telling them what's going on, and they're like, "Okay, well, do you have a parent here?" And I was like, yeah, it's Sergeant so and so on the blah 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 floor." And they're like, "Okay, are they gonna meet you up there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And so they let me up, and it was the exact same floor that my mom was on. So my heart was beating this whole time, and of course I was. Whew. And so when I had gotten off, it was like literally like I could go right to where I had to go, or they told me to go to the like physical therapy or whatever it was, and then or left where my mom's office and area was. And so I was just hoping I wouldn't meet her in the hallway, and I turned right and I went in the office and there was nobody in there, not even like a reception person. So it was clipboard, and I put my name, and I put you always have to put like the active military members SSN, which I knew by that point by heart. So I just put down her social security number and I had a seat. And a little soldier eventually came out, and looked at the clipboard and saw me sitting there and was just like, "Are you Mel the Messenger?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Okay, uh, how old are you?" And I was like, "I'm 14, about to be 15." And he's like, "Do you have a parent with you?" And I'm like, um, "Do I need a parent with me? I mean, I have rights not as myself, you know what I mean?" And he was like, "No, you need a parent." And I was like, "Okay, well, call down to blah 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 department and talk to Sergeant, so and so." And so he did, and he got on the phone and he's like, "Hey, Sergeant so and so, I have your daughter down here." And I could just imagine she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's coming here to be seen." And she's like, probably like, "Yeah, I'll be right there." And so, click, and he tells me, he's like, "Okay, your mom is on her way." And I'm like, "Okay, here we freaking go." I'm thinking. And I don't talk back to my parents. I was not raised that way. My parents are old school. I would not say that they beat me. I was disciplined. I was a very mischievous child, and I would say it was fair. But the discipline I received was old school. I was spanked, and I did not talk back to my parents. So, anyways, here comes my mom, and I just remember standing in the doorway in her BDUs and her military boots with her hands on her hips, and she's like, "Come on, let's go." And I'm like, this is the moment I've never talked back to my mom. And I said, "No." And I started crying, and I was like, "Mom, I love you very much, but there is something wrong with me." And I'm saying it really loud because, like I said, I had to scream and not to cry. So, there's something wrong with me, and I'm not leaving here until I'm seen. And it felt like forever, the silence. It felt like it went on forever. And I'm just sitting there, and finally, thank God for this little soldier. He's like, "Yeah, we don't mind seeing her." Another silence, and then finally, my mom's like, "Fine." And she comes in and she sits down, next to me, and she's just like, "You're in such big trouble, young lady. Wait until your father hears about this." But I didn't care. I felt such relief. I was finally going to talk to a doctor. So yeah, they take me back there, and this is back before like X-rays took a while. Like you would take X-rays and then they would come back, because as soon as they saw my muscles, they were like, "Yes, there's definitely this isn't right." So, anyways, it turned out that I was correct. There was actually a tumor that had dissolved my seventh vertebrae in my neck, and so that's like the last vertebrae, the cervical vertebrae, before it becomes your back. And so it had basically, they called it an ABC tumor. So they called it dissolved, but I've looked it up now, and I think it's pretty much shattered. I don't know. But it's a tumor that dissolved that seventh vertebrae. So on my x-rays, it's literally like hardly anything there where I should have a neck bone. Um, and so, of course, after that point, and after my parents had gotten the message, I couldn't really do anything. I had to lay flat down. I was medevaced from where we lived in Germany, to a different to an Air Force base, and then all the way over to Washington D.C. to Walter Reed's, where I received the best medical care the United States Army had to offer me. They put part of my hip bone and they took and fused it in, and now I have like four little screws and a thing holding the vertebrae above and below together. And that happened when I was 14, and let me tell you guys, that's been a while ago. Okay, and I say all that to say that there might be a time in your life or in your past where you have had to literally stand up and save your own life. Okay? Or you might be going through a situation right now where you just feel so unsupported and unheard in your life, and your ancestors and your spirit guides and God, whatever you want to say that's love and light in this universe, has your back and is supporting you. Okay? If I had not done that, who knows, if like something could have bumped me and I my head would have popped off my neck and I would have been paralyzed down if I had survived it, paralyzed down, from the neck below, and that's not no kind of life. Not only that, I probably would have died, you guys, but it probably, that would have destroyed the lives of everybody around me. Think about that. Even that, just that teacher that had sent me out of her classroom, you know. I had her husband the year after when I had come back to my sophomore or my freshman year in high school, and I had a neck brace on, and one of my eyes was dilated permanently bigger than the other one. But I was so happy to be alive, and I had her dad, and or her dad, my gosh, excuse me, her husband as a teacher in high school the following year. And he had asked me, hey, what happened? And I just told him and stuff like that. So I know that she must have, when I never returned back for those couple of weeks, must have wondered, what if something had happened and I died? And the last thing I'd said to her and I screamed at her was, nobody's listening to me. Me being brave not only saved my life, it saved maybe other people's lives, for sure my family's life in that dynamic. So never be afraid of what your instincts are telling you. Okay? So, sorry. Let's move on to the love preview, shall we? Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, so I think just to explain the extendeds, this is a preview of the extendeds, and we have a love song that I pulled, and this is just going to talk about the situation so that way you know whether or not this is your energy, this is your situation. So the energy that I see for you is talking about a person that has been single and that has found is just really happy in their own power. They have done the work and they're just feeling really, really good. And there's a person that is coming along and you're not really sure what she'd do in the situation. Maybe we're going to ask this person, just so you know that their energies, this person comes across as a classic romantic. This Knight in Cups, if you can see, he's a mover. So it doesn't matter that this is, the cups is usually talking about like a water sign. It doesn't matter if they're a water, it doesn't matter their sign. This is just a person that moves around a lot. They have maybe a lot of, I hear like pokers in the fire, like things going on. When they're coming at you, they're coming really sweet and romantic. Look, this guy's holding flowers. He's got his horse back here where he was like, buddy, whoo, this is the one I was talking about. She's making me feel all kinds of ways. Let's do our best and look good, look good. Maybe he's cleaning his vehicle. He's literally the knight in shining armor when he comes in. Chivalry is not dead with this person's energy. I know I keep saying guy, but you guys get that. It's energy. So, and this is how this person might be sending messages. You see that there's a note. They want to take you on a picnic by the beach, kind of romantic things like that. He's wearing a black shirt. Black usually can talk about protection, so maybe this person is very protective. They're going to go over there and make sure, that your door is open and that you're protected. It's really romantic, sweet kind of, and not in an oppressive way. So. But this is how this person energy is presenting for you in August. So if you want to know how they're feeling about you, we're going to pull a song. And if you guys are just interested in the song, then there'll be the song only, like extended song only. And if you're interested in looking into maybe what more does this person's intentions towards you for August, then we can also look at the cards, and that will be the extended cards, okay? So Geminis, I really hope that you guys have a wonderful August. And I will see you next month. Make sure you do all the stuff. That is if you want to, like, subscribe, do all the stuff if you want messages for next month. Appreciate you. All right, bye.